yes, Watcher of Realms is doomed. The game is over. There's no reason to play anymore. You definitely shouldn't take advantage of this weekend and re-roll a new account and get a Lord if you want. I don't know how many of you guys have tuned into other content creators. If you're anything like me, you probably do all the time. That being said, you may have seen some things pop up about how this fusion is way worse than the other fusion in reference to Aeon versus Lunaria and other past fusions. And I'm going to put some perspective here for you guys and for hopefully these other content creators who have lost a little bit of perspective, in my opinion. The first one being Fastidious, and his video specifically about 5 key differences between Aeon and Lunaria fusions. I'll link it in the video, give you a card, whole 9 yards. Basically, what Fastidious is pointing out is that this fusion is a lot harder than the previous ones. And it is. It is harder. I brought it up that my account can't complete the Brave Conquest. Okay? That's nobody's fault. It's just where my account is. And that is the perspective that I want to bring today. So, with that being said, I want to bring up his video and kind of give you an idea of what he was saying. Now, I only have a small snippet of the video. I have about 35 seconds from about 45 seconds in, because that's all I needed to be able to show you what I'm talking about. To give you an idea of where things are right now. Points wise, it takes 15 points for a legendary, 20 points for an ancient legendary, 20 points for a mythical, 20 points for an ancient legendary, 3 for a rare, 7 for an epic. Okay, that's what it currently takes now. I imagine the points back then were roughly the same. So I want you to keep this in mind with what they currently are right now, with a point requirement of, what was it, 3450, I believe was the point requirement, which he is saying is more than double the Lunaria point requirement. And I understand that, but you'll see the perspective in just a second. So let's pull up the video. Fastidious, his point on why Brave Conquest is harder than it was.
Lunaria calendar, guys. Look at that. This is from my interactive Lunaria calendar. We have the same thing for Aeon right now. If you want to check it out, it's even better. So
it is a good calendar, but the calendar is the point of what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to let him finish.
You can see here, guys, the Lunaria fusion went from September the 1st of this year until September the 18th, a full 18 days, aka a full 2 days longer. So
I'm not worried about the time.
Going for the same amount of fragments here, not counting getting podiums for the Oracle Trials, 110 fragments. For Lunaria, it was 110 in 16 days. For Aeon, 110 in 18 days. Basically, the same things you're going for. You're just going to be a lot more crunch for stamina and time because you have 2 less days to do it.
All right.
Lunaria.
So, he's upset about the time, but he's mostly upset about the fact that there's more points for what's required with less shards for what's required. But I want to point out the time frame of this original fusion. September 1st through September 18th. Okay, now I want to remind you of when this game released. It released on July 6th. Now, yes, an account that is theoretically 4 weeks in should be able to farm legendary and mythical gear. I agree with you. However, That's assuming that everyone is moving at a quick pace and everyone plays at a different pace. So having the first fusion dialed down to suit the points of the original, turned myself off, of the original progression point of the accounts. You were farming rare, epic, and legendary gear. That means on average, you were getting around 10 to 12 points. I don't have my account up, but I believe I am just under 1,000 points for Brave Conquest. So that means that if I had continued to press for an extra 400 points, which is a lot easier than an extra 2,500 points, I would have achieved the point status that I needed to get the Lunaria fusion fragments. Okay? And that is my point that I want to make today. If you scale this up for progress of accounts, and you understand that at this point, the majority of accounts, so help me, should be farming legendary and mythic gear at least, that means that you are now doubling the average amount of points that you're receiving, which means it makes sense to scale up the amount of points that you need in order to achieve the fragment. This is not the end of the game. This is not the end of the world. This is called scaling for the progression level of your players. It's simple. It's simple. So please, can we not over exaggerate something that is simple scaling? Okay? The 2 days, I understand his point that it is kind of a bummer that you've got 48 hours less to grind out the fusion. I get it. But timing this to end on Halloween is kind of a whole thing. It's always going to be a whole thing. So that kind of makes more sense to me as well. Now, that brings me to the other issue. And at that point, I want you to go ahead and, you're welcome to go and check out Fastidious's video. I would encourage you to. It is highly informative. But just understand that it's scaling appropriately, in my opinion. And there is absolutely nothing to worry about here. The fusion is still achievable as a free-to-play player, even at only 14 days old. As long as you utilize your resources appropriately and play during the events, which kind of sucks. You have to sit there and wait for the event to do what you want to do, but you know what? It helps you practice patience, and it helps you practice saving your resources, which is extremely important when it comes to this stuff, especially free to play. Now, the other video is one by my bucket, and he self-admittedly admits in this video that he does not like gacha games. He does not like covering gacha games. He does not think he will cover gacha games in the future. And more power to you. I don't blame you. They're punishing games on people's wallets, people's stress levels. It's a lot of FOMO. It's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of predatory aspects to it. But in all honesty, this one is not so bad. However, another point, in my opinion, where we didn't think about the current state of the game and how it applies to what's happening. And this is about the Zilla 2 skins. All right, so I have found the point that I want to start with. He's going to discuss the new skin, and as you can see, it's got a stat bonus applied to it. I brought it up when I was playing earlier, along with the extra jiggle physics. But anyway, here, my bucket.
Skin. So this is the new Zilla 2 Wings of Doom skin, and it also provides a very negligible amount of stats. Wings of Doom is only
a negligible amount of stats. That's important.
Available right now, as you can see here, exclusive skin for the Arrival of Heroes Ultimate Leaderboard, Enigmatic Shadow Season. This kind of infers that we're going to get more of this in future limited skins in events and leaderboards, because they're calling this a season. It's only going to be 50 players, so it'll be the 50 top spenders on the server, and the top 3 will get Soul Cadens.
Okay. Did you catch that last part? 50. That's backwards. That's backwards. Hands up, don't shoot. 50 players have the possibility of getting a hero skin with a great figure and negligible stat bonuses. I agree that the stat bonuses are negligible. That's not the problem. Okay. Also, I really don't have a problem with this in general, because I do believe that eventually, like next Halloween, for instance, this will probably be something that appears inside of an event. Should it have appeared inside of an event now? Perhaps. Perhaps there is something else planned that has not been revealed yet. Perhaps. The thing to keep in mind here is that, again, this is only for the Ultimate Leaderboard. As he said, this is for the top 50 people in the leaderboard. So that now segues to my point. I watch Ivy League Gaming as well. Ivy had mentioned that she doesn't see a problem with it. Again, the stats are negligible. But I haven't seen anybody really consider the fact that Guild Wars is coming. And if I recall, part of Guild Wars is utilizing your hero's stats for your defense and or for your demon units. Now, with that in mind, these small stat bonuses, while negligible, are going to stack up for the whales who are going to spend, and get all these skins and have the bonuses. Now, this is a mechanic that Moonton does, evidently. And that is something that Mabucket brings up in this video. There's a game called Mobile Legends Bang Bang, which is just absolutely silly, but it sells the skins. It looks like for premium currency or some other kind of in-game currency. But it sells the skins for the heroes. This is some kind of League of Legends ripoff. But their fear is that this is coming to the game, and it probably is, and it really isn't going to affect the average player. It's going to affect those top 50 people and their guilds. Now, are you occasionally in the middle to lower tiers going to run into some guy who's got a lot of expendable income and just crushes you? Yes. I've run into him. His name is Kyle. Kyle, I will never forget the clan versus clan that you crushed me in. Good work. But I put up almost like 700,000 points, bro. You hit me with 1 million. It was fucking low tier bullshit. Why'd you hit me with 1 million points, Kyle? So every now and again, you're going to run into a Kyle. And that's just the facts of life. But the Kyles are typically going to be battling the other sweats out on the leaderboards. And you're going to have a lot more fun playing gacha games without worrying about the leaderboards. Okay? Enjoy the mechanics of the game. Enjoy the strategy of the game. Enjoy the game itself. That's why I purposely do a free-to-play series, because I want you to understand that there's fun to be had with the game without spending a penny. Let the top 50 people fund the development for the game. That's fine. It's always going to be that way. But they don't have to have your wallet because you can keep it closed. And ooh, you can get a summoning stone. And then let's go summon again. And you can do it all for free. You don't have to open your wallet. You don't have to get outraged at what's going on about 1%, less than 1% attack based on their base stats, which is less than 40. It's like 40 attack. 400 maybe. Math. But yeah, don't worry about the drama. Watcher of Realms is not doomed. I saw Fastidious had a video with total clickbait on it. I am not clicking it. I'm not getting involved in that. That is just editorializing and just trying to get people to watch your video. So yes, Watcher of Realms is doomed. The game is over. There's no reason to play anymore. You definitely shouldn't take advantage of this weekend and re-roll a new account and get a Lord if you want. But that's going to be it. That's going to be it for this. I just wanted to highlight the fact that, it's not as bad as people say it is. Okay? There are other perspectives, and I wanted to give you a perspective based on, an account that is near the beginning and still capable of doing what needs to be did. So don't worry about a thing. You make sure you have a good rest of your day. Come on back and play with the D. And fail to proceed with me.